Hey everybody, want to thank you so much for coming out here and taking a listen to this. My name is Pastor Richard Villanueva. I'm the youth pastor here at the Rock Church. I want to thank you so much for joining us. I have a really special guest with us today, Pastor Denisa Suarez out from Colorado. She is a licensed sex and family therapist. So she's here because all of you parents out there wanted to get the scoop. You wanted the talk about the talk. So we have her out here as a guest to help share with us from her experience how to make it less awkward, how to get the right information out, and how to be prepared yourself as a parent to discuss with your preteens and your teenagers about sex and relationships in a godly perspective. So, Pastor Denisa, really excited you're here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I love being here. This is my home in the West Coast.
Right? She's a great friend of the Rock. She's been at our conferences and different events. You know, she's out here in California, so I'm excited to have you here. And I wanted to talk to you about just what is it going to take to equip a parent to be able to have this talk with their kids. I guess thinking about it, what's the right age to begin to talk with your children about sex?
That's a good start. And I think part of it is realizing the biological and environmental stage that your kids are at. Typically, we would say 9 to 12, but there's some early bloomers that start around 8. Children that may have older siblings, an environment and influence of older kids, we would say 6 months to a year early we need to start with them. Also a factor will be the school, whatever school they're at, when is the school doing the talk? Because we want to have the advantage of telling the truth before anybody else has influence of bringing information to them.
Yeah, I think that's great. So then it's really preventative maintenance. It's getting them right before they get it wrong.
Yes, we put the foundation in there. And
that's
we
cool.
Tell them clearly what God expects, not our opinions, because we all have opinions and different, but what is the value that the Word of God is teaching so that foundation is there, and whenever anything comes, they'll have within them to fight or to say, no, that's not true. This is the truth.
That's good. Okay, so now you're saying right around between 9 and 12. Now, I have an 8-year-old daughter. And I'm hearing this and I'm thinking, gosh, am I ready to have this conversation with her? So how do you start a conversation about this topic with an 8, a 9, a 10-year-old?
Yes, well, you start looking for cues.
Okay.
And they're there every day. When they're singing a song, a secular song that is on the sexy side, that the content is a little bit not so much like a Disney, but it's a little bit more. When they start being interested in dressing in different ways or wearing lip gloss and you see that intent, I think we can use those as kind of like bridges to start connecting and having a talk about modesty and purity and the things that we rather hold on to, the model that we kind of like want to live by. And I think when we do it in that positive way, it helps them not run away from us. And it helps them feel cared for. Not that they're weird and that they're going to be weird at school with their friends, but that we're really understanding the values that we're after.
So I like what you said. You want to approach it in a positive way. So what are some conversation points that you do and don't want to include in that conversation with your kids?
Well, for example, let's say a girl wants to wear a top that is too short or a skirt that is too short. We don't say we don't wear that. We don't do that because then again, in our culture, there's a lack of tolerance for different, and we're not embracing those who need to be embraced. So we want to teach our kids that's not the route we go. We explain, sometimes we send a message with the way we dress, and what is the message you want to send about your life? How do you want boys to view you, your friends to approach you? What freedom or what invitation do you want to pose for them? And that's kind of like what we're going after. We're going after training a heart, not just posting a set of rules.
That's good. I think that's really good. And I think what I'm hearing with this too is the idea that ultimately God created sex. So sex isn't a bad thing, and you don't want to demonize it, but on the other hand, you want to create a heart attitude that respects and honors it.
Actually, we want to tell them that sex is great.
Okay.
Sex is amazing. And God created it that way.
Yeah.
And we start talking, don't you feel some sensations already? Don't you feel your body preparing for what God has ahead for you?
Okay.
We shouldn't be embarrassed or uncomfortable talking about that.
Okay.
There's even a ministry that in the heart of doing something good, protecting our kids from sex, actually teaches them that sex is shameful, that it's embarrassing, that it's kind of like not such a good thing. So save it for the one you love.
Yeah.
Really? That's what you're going to say? No, it is amazing. And wow, I'm so glad that you're having that sensation, because that means your wires are connecting.
Okay.
Things are working. We just need to find out what is the best way of going in that process, you know. And God is clear in the Word.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we want to teach our kids.
Awesome. So then it's celebrating the gift that God's given us of sex.
Yes.
But it's creating the right type of mindset that says, this gift is so awesome, you don't want to spoil it by doing it the world's way.
Yeah. And it's when somebody has a gift of administration or a gift of something, as kids, they still have to go through school. I mean, they might do little things that show signs that is in there, like our sexuality, but they're not ready to fully embrace it and go with it until they're done with school, they're adults, and they get a job, and then you see the gifts blossoming and growing. It's a similar thing. We should embrace it from when they're babies.
Wow. Okay. So then, now this is definitely I think a good and a new way of thinking about it. So I feel like one of the big things is, how do we as parents make this talk less awkward with our kid? Because some of us, I mean, the idea is like, you know, don't do this and don't do that, and the fear is that weird feeling, and it'll be the silence, and the kid looks at you and says, "Mom, this is embarrassing," you know? So how do we overcome that awkwardness in initiating the talk with our kids?
I think understanding our responsibility is key. Sometimes we're put in a position, a new job, and we're apprehensive and scared and stressed. Yet we still take the position because we know it is the right thing to do. It's the job that, you know, it's been given us. So with them is understanding it is our responsibility to take our kids and guide them and give them the proper information, and to, by force of doing it constantly, because the more we repeat, the more that they're going to keep in mind those truths. It's going to make them in return feel more comfortable as well.
Got it. I like that, how you said the more you repeat it. I mean, a lot of times things are awkward because we've never done them before.
Oh yeah, but you know, every time they're going out and then they have permission to go to the movies or whatever, or to a friend's house, remember good manners. Don't we do that all the time?
Right.
Remember to be nice. Remember to be kind. Remember your commitment to purity. Remember that God is always wanting to see you in your best. And the same thing with the sex. You know, to have that constant repetition is a good thing.
Yeah, I love it. I think that's such a neat way, and I think using the word responsibility is really key, because if we don't teach our kids, then somebody else will.
Yes.
You know, and you had said something earlier of something along the lines of keeping the lines of communication open. What are the best ways we can earn that trust to allow our teenagers to feel comfortable talking with us about these things?
I think even though we're the adults and we're the ones who have the content and the information, we should always be very respectful to the way we have conversation, even with our 9-year-old. So a little girl gets her period. So what does this mean to you? What do you think? So in terms of biology, in terms of emotions, allow her to express what she's thinking. And maybe she's got some already good information, and you just need to reiterate a little bit more.
Okay.
That way you're not coming with a load on to her. Ooh, the talk that, you know, loud. What do you think you'll feel more comfortable with? Tampons, with pads, you know? Let's keep track of how you feel, how your mood changes, to see if I need to help you, if we need to take you to the nurse, or, you know, having them be part of that, I think also helps you develop that connectivity. Where they feel heard and wow.
So then this really sounds like, to me, it sounds like it's less of a talk and more of a conversation.
Yes, you got that. You got it.
Because I'm hearing what you're saying, and that's really that's really cool and encouraging. I know in my experience working with teenagers, I know that listening is as important, if not more important, than talking.
Yes. And to be wise, for example, your daughter loves ice cream. You know what? Let's go for ice cream. And do nothing else but hold hands and be cute and have that little dating time, hugging, where you feel her, where she feels you, and we're done. But you know what? One of those, let's just go after that for a talk and continue a conversation. We're not going to get it all in one shot. Yeah. We're not going to get it all right. We're going to make mistakes. We're going to say things that we process. That wasn't quite the message. So this is life.
Yeah.
So we rectify. Cool. We go back and have another conversation.
I like that. I like that. And for you to frame it in that way, hey, let's go out and get some ice cream, hold hands. It sounds like it's a natural part of life.
It is.
It's not like sit down on the bed and just endure me.
Close the door. Boys, don't come.
Right. It just sounds like it's just another part of life.
Yes.
We talk about, do you want to do baseball or basketball? This is, how do you feel about your period? Which... like I said, I have an 8-year-old daughter, and I'm trying to process this inside of myself too. So we've talked about what's it like for the parent that's really apprehensive about this. Now, on the other end, how much information is too much information to give a child?
That's good. We don't want to be ever too graphic.
Okay.
I'm a sex therapist. We do conferences, and we do even intimate conferences, and there's no need to be so graphic. Unless there's an issue one-on-one with a specific couple. Because some of the basics are the basics, and they're the way they are. Mm-hmm. So what is the need for so much description?
Got it.
What they need to know is that our bodies are not our bodies, because we're believers, so we believe God owns our bodies.
That's good.
And